welcome to Before the Fight, filmed here in the iconic ProCam Studios. ProCam for all your audio and visual needs. My host, Shannon O'Connell, Joel Camilleri. Shotgun, how are you?
I'm good.
Camo, how are you?
Doing great, thank you.
That's the way. Mate, we've got a little piece on you on today's episode. May 15th, big fight coming up. We'll talk about that shortly. But let's get started. The events from the weekend. So much to talk about. Firstly, Huni Vs Gallen. It's happened, finally. There was an interview done by Before the Fight with Dean Lonergan where there was an offer made of a 7-figure contract.
But I got a young heavyweight called Justice Huni, and there's a lot of chatter and banter going on, but we're for real. We'll take on. We need another fight before we go to the Olympics. So, Paul, if you want to make a 7-figure amount, give us a call, brother.
Gallen responded a couple of days later on Instagram saying that he's got an initial offer from Dean Lonergan, but it wasn't enough, and for Dean to sharpen his pencil.
I have been talking to Dean Lonergan. He has made me an offer, as has been reported today, but Dean, sharpen your pencil, mate. You want me in the ring with him? Sharpen your pencil. It's nowhere near what I'll accept for the fight, and you need to fix it up, mate. You want to fix it up, you want it to happen, make it happen. Sharpen the pencil, ring me back. You got my number.
Dean must have done that because Ben Damon has announced from Main Event and Fox, or from Main Event, that the fight is going ahead for the Australian title over 10 rounds. Shotgun, your thoughts?
I think it's a great fight. It's putting a lot of pressure on Huni because Gallen's no pushover. If he loses, he's losing to a footy player because that's what everyone will go back to, even though we've said Gallen's no footy player anymore.
So he's not going to try to box Huni. Huni's going to obviously be the much superior boxer. Huni's amateur career, huge. Gallen, more pro experience. In the pros, he's fought more fights, but I give Gallen a puncher's chance.
Is this the biggest test for Justice? Bigger than Django?
Look, I think that's a hard question because I think Django beats Gallen. But that's just because styles make fights. So I think Gallen's on par, like a big test, especially because now Justice has had a few done a few rounds. I think it's a bigger test than what he's had other than Django.
The 10 rounds, Joel, you reckon that's going to make a difference?
Gallen's a fighter. He's not one of those guys who's going to come out and win 3 rounds by outboxing you. He's going to fight you, and he's going to prepare for 10 rounds, and he's going to fight for 10 rounds. He's got a heart. He's strong. He never gives up.
He's got an engine.
Yeah, he's got an engine, man. He's going to keep going.
Look, it's probably fair to say that this is probably the biggest test that either one of them have had for their previous 3 or 4 fights. And he's fighting Christian Tszyu in 4 weeks' time in Sydney at Fox Studios in front of 80 people, and it's the only fight that's going to be happening on that card. Christian Tszyu 5-3, so this is definitely going to be the biggest test Justice had of late. Obviously, the same for Gallen. It's the biggest test of late for Gallen.
And for 7 figures, I'll fight Justice Huni. Hey guys.
Yeah, well, I think that the fight with Gallen's a massive fight for Huni's going to build his profile. We need pay-per-view stars now. So once he beats Gallen, then maybe another big fight will come up and it's going to increase his popularity, and then hopefully everyone tunes in and watches all these fights from there on.
Which takes us to Third Man's Thoughts with Phil Austin.
I've given you both your instructions in the dressing room. I'm just going to tell you again. Obey my commands at all times, protect yourself at all times. Touch them up, back you go, and best of luck at the bell. On today's segment, I'm going to be giving the third man's thoughts on illegal punches. Okay, first thing we're going to need to demonstrate here is the foul areas. So your striking area where your box is allowed to hit basically runs as a line from the ear all the way down the body, the side of the body, from top of one hip, across the navel to the other hip. Anything that lands from behind, around here, or lower is considered a foul. Okay, the situation we've had here is that Abdul has made a legal shot illegal. Floyd was actually aiming towards Abdul's abdomen in the scoring area. Abdul has parried that blow low, making it an illegal punch. Now, whilst it's hitting the foul area, it's the fighter who's made that illegal, not the fighter throwing it. So no action is going to be taken against the fighter throwing the shot. Now, our other scenario here for low blows is Floyd is actually going to be landing shots which would have been straight to the abdomen area. Abdul is actually pulling down on the back of his head. This actually changes the trajectory of the shots and causes them to stray low. Now, once again, obviously a fighter's going to be looked after for the low shots, but there's going to be no action taken against the other fighter because they weren't actually intentional. This foul you can see here quite clearly is shots to the kidneys. You can see the fact that Floyd is coming in around, heading straight to the kidney area. Any referee going is going to pull those up straight away. The area through here, the kidney shots are a real area for concern, mainly because there's no protection here and it's a major organ of the body. Shots to these will cause a fighter to urinate blood for a considerable time afterwards, and that can lead to permanent renal damage. Another situation we have here is the back of the head, or the rabbit shots. Now, I'm going to go into the health issues for those and safety concerns quite shortly. But there's another concern for a referee, and this is one of control. Quite simply, the most quickly retaliated of all fouls known to mankind is the rabbit punch. Now, whilst anything past the ear is considered illegal, there's a couple of areas of major concern. The occipital lobe, which is at the base of the skull, is actually responsible for sight, the brain stem, and is responsible for sending messages to and from all parts of the body. And the final area we have of concern is the cerebellum. That's responsible for coordination and fine motor skills. Basically, any contest you're ever watching, and if you see a boxer lose his motor skills, you know we've got a serious area of concern.
From there, we move to the other big news that's happened pretty much in the last week or so. Zerafa versus Tszyu. Shotgun.
Yeah, I think we all sort of knew it was going to happen. So yeah, it's good that both teams are now saying it's on. Zerafa's talking a lot more about it. Said that the money's come back better this time, so that's why he's taking it. Be a good fight, be a good card.
Cammer.
Yeah, I think it's the last kind of fight in Australia for Tim to fight against Zerafa, and everyone's asking for it, and Zerafa's been talking for a long time, and so is his team and that. So it's great that it's going to actually happen now, and it's a great fight.
It is a great fight, and you've both nailed it on the head. It's the last fight domestically for Tim Tszyu. They're obviously going to be looking for an international opponent come hell or high water at the end of the year. They've made that very clear, but at the moment they are struggling to get either an opponent from the UK or from America. Now, there was an original media spin about them offering Tszyu the $1 million. The reason why this isn't a real offer is the fact that they're offering to fight Tim. So it's going to be on a no-limit show. It's not like Tim Tszyu will be walking out first, Zerafa walking out second, and it's going to be on a Zerafa show. That's just simply not happening. That was kind of a great media spin to keep people talking about the fight and the comment section in social media. But the fact of the matter is, it is better money now for Zerafa. He asked for it, he's made enough noise about it, and it is going to happen. How does this fight play out, Shotgun?
The same as all of Tim's fights lately have played out. I don't think Zerafa goes the distance.
Cammer.
So I've spent a lot of time with both of them. I think Tim's just mindset on fight night is just superior to Zerafa's. Zerafa's great in the gym, as is Tim, but Tim brings it more on fight night, so I believe that Tim will win the fight.
Does it go the distance?
Zerafa's tough, but I don't think so. I think a late stoppage for Tim.
Yeah, I think late stoppage.
Yeah, all great calls. Only time will tell.
If he loses to Tim, then it's like, what's the next kind of prize fighter for him that's to make him money?
I think him and Hogan is a great fight.
I think that's a great fight as well. Dennis obviously looking for one more opponent before he goes back to Ireland to try and have a stadium fight against Spike Sullivan. That's the fight that he's definitely trying to make at the moment. Rumours are who's the opponent going to be. Names have been thrown out like Ben Kite, possibly Ben Marnie. So what happens there, we're not sure.
Another good fight. Ben Marnie.
Ben Marnie, yeah. I think the Ben Kite fight would be a great one if either Dennis comes down to welter or if we can get Ben Kite to go up to super welter. But Ben Kite's name's also been mentioned with as a possible opponent for Lenny Zappavinia. So what happens there, we're not sure, but expect a massive media campaign to start now with No Limit, getting the gears rolling for the Zerafa Tszyu fight. Camo, we came out, we did a little piece on you about your upcoming fight May 15th at Mansfield Tavern on Ace Boxing Promotions against Luke Woods. Now, tough little opponent.
Yeah, well, he's not too little. He's bigger than me. But no, I'm looking forward to it. I'm taking him seriously. I'm training hard, in the best shape of my life. I've been really taking this as serious as I can. I think my experience is going to show. And I believe I'll put him out of there by the final bell.
Well, this is what your trainers had to say about it. Joel Camilleri, May 15th, Luke Woods, Mansfield Tavern. How's preparation going?
Yeah, really good, man. Just we're stepping it up. Everything's fallen into place. Haven't trained too hard, haven't trained not enough, so it's all going really well.
Mate, you've got a good mixture of trainers, obviously Faris, Frankie Pianto, and we're here now at Dundee's gym. The three of them come together, they make the best program that you could get.
Yeah, well, Dundee, as he goes by, smash. He smashes me and gets me working. Got Frankie and Faris as well, who are very smart-minded, good boxing IQ. So, and they all work together. They're all family. There's no ego. They work together and they do what's best for me.
What can we expect out of this fight against Luke Woods?
Just see an improved version of my last fight. So every single fight, I don't come to to bring something that new, but something small every single time and keep working on making improvements every fight.
What do you think he does well?
He's awkward. He's a southpaw and he's long. He has the amateur experience, so he's very, very sharp. But he's a good fighter, and that's why I'm fighting him.
Mate, obviously getting a lot of sparring in and around. We've seen you at Matrix Gym and everything on social media. Have you been fighting southpaws that have been comparable to his style?
Well, I've sparred every single southpaw. I started camp with an orthodox fighter in Tszyu, doing over 30 rounds. But since then, I've sparred guys in Newcastle, in Sydney, in Brisbane, in Gold Coast. So, at least one of those guys are going to, on the night, Luke Woods might bring 3 styles. So I've covered them all. I hate ones that keep doing this shit.
Dundee, you've put Joel through his paces this morning. How's his camp been?
We training hard and planned hard, and so we not box is a stupid way. So we always analyze, engage with Frankie and then Peter and also Faris. So we pick up some good part. So every trainer has different skills. We put together, it's assembling together. So we're gonna show, 15th of May. Yeah. I talked with Joel. Don't try and knock him out. It just the KO is automatically coming out from natural movement and the preparation. If you wanna, every boxer's trying to knock out each other. It's no good idea. So just so slowly, eating slowly.
Patience?
Yeah, patient, eat slowly. Tail first, leg first, body first, and neck first. Yeah.
Really appreciate everyone who's coming down and appreciate Angelo and Glenn Hosking from Ace Boxing Group.
Mate, they're a quality organisation. They're always doing great things. It's been a while since we've been back to Mansfield. But we haven't seen you under the lights since Townsville against Adam Copland. Yeah. You must be getting itchy knuckles. You must be ready to go.
Yeah, well, before that fight it was 10 months, and before this fight it's been 9 months between fights. So I'm hanging, but I didn't sit back doing nothing. The whole 9 months I was working on improving myself, and you'll see that on May 15th.
Mate, looking forward to it. We're going to let you go and we'll catch up with you again soon. Thank you.
Thanks again. A shout out to before the fight, but also I'm a host here as well, so it's a great show. Thanks.
We're here with Faris, one of Joel's trainers. You've been with him throughout this camp. How's he developed so far over this camp?
No, so yeah, I can see Joel stepping up. He's been sparring a lot, working with different fighters, going to different gym, and I think for this camp he reached another level too. I can see he's a different fighter than last year. He's already got a lot of experience, but this time I think his training camp with Tszyu made a big difference. I can't wait to see the final results. Well, I'm not trying to change his boxing style. He's already got his boxing style. He's more trying to adjust, try to canalize his movement, because we don't want him to waste too much energy moving around. So it's just the key is to make just small adjustments. So it's gonna be better on fight night,
Frank Banter, you're one of the trilogy that it comes to training Joel Camilleri. 15th of May, Luke Woods. How have you seen him adjust over this camp?
He's probably the most underestimated boxer in Australia, to be honest. In that weight division, he fought the best in the weight division, and I think you'll see Joel move on from this fight, obviously from the domestic scene into the regional scene, with Peter and Maniatis as his manager steering the ship. I think you'll see him move on to bigger and better things.
What do you think Luke Woods does well?
I think Luke's reasonably good from the centre of the ring, and I think he counter-punches well. All the bases have been covered in the technical side of things with Joel to be able to counteract those things that Luke does well. Joel's had a really good camp, to be honest. Obviously, everyone in the camp has a role, and it works quite well. There's no ego involved. Obviously, Dundee's the head coach, and Farris and myself obviously help Joel with a few of the technical aspects. So Joel's in terrific shape, and really looking forward to the Ace Boxing Group May 15th card.
So Joel, here we are at Eastside. We were at Dundee's. This is the second home, the other home. Yeah. Obviously we've got Farris and Frankie up there. How important is it to have these two in your life as well?
I think it's very important. Dundee's puts a lot of time into me, but I mix it up, come with Farris. Farris, one of the best movers in the sport. Frankie, one of the best IQs in the sport. So it gives me that confidence having three real good guys in my corner.
It's beautiful to see the village coming together to raise this child.
Yeah, that's it, I know. I'm a 30-year-old child, man. Like, I haven't seen my mum and dad for that long, but I've got three dads now.
From there we move to Parker Chisora. The matchroom fight happened on the weekend. Look, tough decision. Scorecards were a little bit funny. It was a split decision to Parker. Shotgun, your thoughts on that fight?
Good fight. It was nice and close, and I think Parker showed in the later rounds using his jab, throwing the bigger combos that he deserved that win, I think, and he was definitely in better shape than when he fought Far.
Yeah, agreed. Camo, your thoughts?
Yeah, well, Chisora knocked him down in the first round. He put the pressure on. He leaned on him. He was using he always switches his styles. He was using the southpaw jab, which is working, but Parker got up and boxed pretty well. It was a close fight, but I think it was the right decision though.
Yeah, Chisora leaning on him a lot too in the earlier rounds?
Yeah, well, Chisora, I think, knew that Parker had the hand speed. He had the boxing ability, so he leaned on him, tried to break him down and wear him out so he could finish him off towards the end, but Parker stayed strong and kept boxing until the final bell. He
definitely looked better than he did against Junior Far, Shotgun, but words of a rematch already.
Yeah, and I think a good rematch. I personally think that rematches like that, Parker will win easier next time because he would have learnt a lot from it, and he'll come in even better and be able to keep the distance a bit more.
You'd have to think there's definitely going to be a rematch, Camo, when Joe's new trainer, Andy Lee, came out and said what he said.
Yeah, well, Andy Lee went up to Derek Chisora and Buddy McGirt and said, I think you guys have the decision. So, pretty much telling him that he thought they won the fight, or the judge is going to give it to them. So, after saying, I don't know why you'd say that on camera, that there's microphones around and that. My trainer would never say that I lost my fight, on camera, for hurry up.
Well, yeah, Chisora actually having Andy Lee come up standing next to him and saying it at the post-fight interviews. But look, there was a chance where in the 11th round, Parker had hurt Chisora. He had hurt him. He'd moved him against the ropes and let him off. The commentary said it, the crowd said it, everybody said it. He could have finished him right then and there, but he didn't. He let him off, and then the 12th round looked like it was pretty much a Chisora round. Chisora very upset with the decision.
I feel sorry for Chisora. If you look at his record, all his losses against good fighters, split decisions, majority decisions. If he hasn't been stopped, he's been in the fight, and a lot of the fights and his losses could have went his way. So it's another one to his record where he's like, man, what do I need to do?
I think that Parker will be a lot better off with a full training camp with Andy Lee as opposed to only being with him for 9 weeks, and I think he will be a lot stronger the second time around against Chisora. So yeah, now what a great fight just before that, Shotgun.
Yeah, Katie Taylor and Natasha Jonas, what a fight. I still believe Katie Taylor she's the greatest of all time. She's such a good boxer, she's neat. The scorecards were so close, but I believe that Katie was just landing the better shots.
In the post-fight interviews, Natasha Jonas had no problems at all with the fact that she lost the fight, and even was talking about other opponents. She wasn't mentioning a rematch at all. The interviewers actually had to ask her what she would think about a rematch, and both her and Katie basically dismissed it, and then they had to flip the question to Katie as to who would be a good next opponent for
100%.
Natasha Jonas.
So I personally, the fight I really want to see, Katie Taylor and Amanda Serrano.
Yeah, and definitely Matchroom winning on top of that one as well. That'd be a great fight. The girl's making a lot of noise. Lots of good things happening over there with Matchroom. The Tolj Tapes. So much happening overseas. We can't wait to hear Tony Tolj break down the international scene. Tony Tolj, our international man of mystery. So much happening on the international scene. How have you been?
Good, mate. Been flat out. Been missing before the fight.
Oh, mate, tell me about it. Now, let's get started. We have the Chisora Parker card. We'll start with the undercard there. Chris Eubank Jr. versus Marcus Morrison. What do you think of that?
That was a good fight. Eubank Jr., he's got everyone on his side from Roy Jones. He's got the Sauerland brothers. Yes, he's coming along nicely.
Yeah, he defeated Mark Morrison by unanimous decision, obviously on DAZN and Matchroom. From there, we moved to Dimitri Bivol versus Craig Richards for the WBA light heavyweight title. Bivol 18-0, Richards 16-2 and 1, a unanimous decision there as well.
Richards put up a great performance from mid to late rounds. Not really that existent in the first half, but if you just sort of gave a bit more, because it was a very, very close fight, and Bivol's used just stopping people left, right, and centre. Being the WBA light heavyweight champion, you've got Beterbiev, who's with Top Rank. I think he's Joe Smith, that's got the WBO title. Beterbiev's got the IBF. So there's a sort of a round robin that could come from those guys as well.
Plenty to go there, plenty of work there for Bivol. But some of the judges had this one fairly close, only within 2 rounds.
Yeah, that's right. I thought it was a little bit wider, but it was in England. So let's leave it at that.
We have Billy Joe Saunders taking on Canelo Alvarez for pretty much every belt invented at AT&T Stadium in Dallas this weekend on DAZN and Matchroom. This is for Canelo's WBA, WBC, and Ring Super titles, and Billy Joe's WBO title.
That's right. So the only one left out of that is
Caleb Plant.
Yep, that's right. And Eddie Reynoso, who's Canelo's trainer and also manager, he's talking about getting through Billy Joe, fighting Caleb Plant. And then they're looking at potentially Beterbiev as well. Just looking to get all the weights in the super middleweight division and then unify in the light heavyweight division.
So again, DAZN Matchroom killing it on this one. Dallas, AT&T Stadium. It's all happening. That's where it is. Tony Tolj, another amazing Tolj Tapes, mate. Thank you very much.
Keeps getting better, mate.
So there we have it, guys. Another great episode. So much to talk about domestically and internationally. Can't wait to see what we've got to talk about next week.
Yeah, hopefully I've got some big news next week too.
Ooh, good to hear. And yeah, Cammy, you're only going to be 2 weeks out, 3 weeks out now, yeah?
2 weeks out now, right now, so yeah.
2 weeks out now.
So next week's fight week.
Oh my gosh, look out, here we go.
That's it, and I can't wait, man. I'm excited.
I'm Rob Scheif and you're watching Before the Fight.